Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Take Two Radio Music. I'm Pam, your host, and with me today, hopefully in the next few minutes, is going to be my co-host. What a day, what a day. Oh, my gosh. I'm so sorry that the show was scheduled for 3 p.m. Eastern, and then Johnny was in the studio doing his voice things, whatever he does for the albums, and so now we finally got it together. Area code 703.
How are you, Pam?
Michael?
Pam, this is Michael. How are you?
Oh, okay. Didn't know. You were calling me from a different phone number.
Loud and clear. Doing the landline just so we don't get cut off or anything.
Okay. Well, this is my co-host. This is Michael, and he's with Terrorizing Records, and he's going to be doing the interview with me when Johnny gets online. How you doing? Been a crazy day, huh?
It's been a little bit crazy, but we've been sticking to it and communicating with everybody and, just having fun, and you and I have been able to talk a little bit, so just looking forward to talking with Johnny and getting this interview going.
I know. And hopefully he will be calling in shortly. I told him to give us 15 minutes once I got the last email, so I gave him the phone number and all that good stuff. And I'm sure he'll be calling in a few minutes. I wonder if he's going to be able to talk after being in the studio all day.
I know, and it's crazy because when you think about, I've been in the studio before, and it was just a very local studio, but when you go into these big studios, there's all sorts of different things that go on, and 1 hour becomes 2 hours, becomes 4 hours, and with all of their songs and just the precision with which they'll go about how to record it, it does make a lot of sense. So, just happy to be able to talk to the guy. So hopefully his voice is in pretty good shape.
Even if he's just squeaking out those words, we'll be happy. We'll listen real closely. We'll all turn up our phones or our computers or whatever we're listening on.
Well, he's got such a good voice that even when it might not sound perfect, it probably sounds better than most. So, it'll be a lot of fun.
That's so true. So I know I have, it looks like we may have our guest here. Let me go ahead and click over. Johnny, is that you?
Yeah.
Hi.
Can you hear me? What's up? Sorry about all that.
That's okay. Well, just to let our listeners know, if they haven't figured it out, today we're very excited to welcome multi-platinum award-winning lead singer and songwriter from Skid Row, and also his own solo artist, Johnny-Solinger. How do you like that?
What's up? I love it. I love it.
How are you doing after your long day?
It's just par for the course. It's very strange that I was in, 5,000 miles away a few days ago, and it's just been a crazy schedule. That's all. I'm happy to happy to be doing it. And these days, it's good to be alive and working. So I'm happy.
Isn't that the truth? And I have a special guest co-host with me, and his name is Michael, and he's from Terrorizing Records. Say hello, Michael.
Hey, Johnny, how are you, man? Thanks so much for taking time to meet up with us, man.
Of course, man. What are you guys doing?
Well, we just been hanging out, talking all day. Not on the radio, but just hanging out. But I'm out in D.C. and we're filming a documentary about music therapy and the power of music to heal and connect people.
Well, it sure does that. It also makes them drive fast and have really questionable sex.
Well, they say, what's funny, and you're absolutely right, Johnny, because the science behind it proves that the chemicals released in the brain when you play music or listen to music are the exact same as when you have sex.
There you go.
It's so funny because Rachel was talking today about Mythbusters, about the brown note. Have you ever heard of the brown note?
I have.
And they proved that it is correct. They pumped a guy full of a bunch of food and put him in front of some speakers with a brown note, and sure enough. So it's responsible for everything, going in, going out, all of it.
As long as it doesn't get too messy.
I'm sure it is.
I'm left out of the loop here because I have no idea what a brown note is. You'll have to tell me later, Michael.
Probably just Google it.
Yeah, that's a great job. Just make sure that nobody looks at your computer after it.
Yeah, I kind of figured that. Well, you've just come back from the UK, so tell us about that. How'd everything go?
Oh man, it was well, it's been a while since I've been over there, but the schedule was brutal, but it was so cool. And last time I went, I didn't really check out as much as I should have, and this time I tried to get out and see some stuff. But it was the UK part of that run was 9 shows in 10 days. So,
oh my gosh!
Yeah, so you're kind of motoring around there, and the one day off, I was just trying to recover. And then after that, we went to Wales. To Czech Republic, and that's not the UK. So we went to Czech Republic for 2 shows, and then flew home. I had 1 day off, and then I came here for to record more. And then that was. Oh no! And then we had shows. And then we had shows in California and in Arizona. And then I had a day off, and then I came here, and that was Sunday, and then went back in the studio on Monday, Tuesday, and then today. So it's just like, wow.
Yeah. I was telling Michael, I'm amazed that you still have a voice after all of that.
You know, me too. Me too. But especially those slave drivers, and I know that's a horrible term. All right, the overworkers of my band, just like, get in there and do it. And I'm like, all right.
Well, when did you sleep? Did you sleep in the one day you were off?
I tried. I mean, my clock was so screwed because at one point we were 6 hours from my normal time. So I was just like, what the hell's going on? And, we were all just completely, but that's what you sign up for. And, it probably still hasn't caught up with me.
Right.
But at least we got to do some cool stuff. I mean, we had the 1 day off in Leeds, and so I got to walk around Leeds, and of course there was London and York and Manchester, and the band had never played Czech Republic before in the history of the band. So going to Prague, which is just as pretty as everyone says, it was just fantastic. And the fact that the band had never been there, the people just went absolutely apeshit. So,
wow.
Yeah, and then playing California on Friday last week, and then Arizona on Saturday. Those people went crazy too. So it's just been fun.
Well, you just have crazy fans, That's all.
Yeah, they're excited about the new material.
Yeah.
What up, Michael? What up?
Not much, man. How are you? Are you excited about the new material?
Oh, jeepers creepers! It's a whole new chapter for the band. The guys, those I call them the elders. The elders are very are just so excited about the new deals we've been able to make, and our little plan for how it's going to be, thrown out, and having so many companies behind us that agree with what we're trying to do. And the reviews and just it's only out in North America. Those poor people over there at the UK, they try and go on and download from iTunes, and it doesn't let them. iTunes UK doesn't have it yet.
Wow.
So they're just screwed unless they order it from like Amazon and have it mailed or something. Until May 27th, it goes into their stores and into their digital outlets. Until then, they're just kind of screwed.
Wow. Well, Michael and I were very lucky, and we have United World Rebellion Chapter 1, and absolutely love it. Absolutely love it.
That's fantastic.
Now, why did you do the three, the trilogy instead of doing just one full album? Why'd you go with the 3 EPs?
Well, the answer is like 2 or 3-fold. First of all, it's not just America, but the whole world. It's just such a 24-hour news cycle, and attention spans are not what they used to be.
Right.
And the economy sucks. So we tried to figure out a way to deliver a low-cost product with that's a better product. Instead of putting out, say, 12 songs and then touring for 2 years on it, where 20 months down the road nobody cares or whatever, we decided to roll this out in affordable packages where you can remain current. You can release 5, 6, 7 songs and then go out and tour, and then 6 or 7 months later do the same thing. Keep it current. Keep the quality up. There's no fillers on that record. And keep the quality up, the cost down, and keep the train rolling for, over a period of 18 to 20 months with the same kind of theme. And like I said, instead of putting out a 12, 13-song record with a bunch of crap on it.
That's very cool, John. What I'm always fascinated by, you're out on the road a lot, and I know you're doing multiple tours with multiple bands. But you actually, when you're on the road, do you take anything away or any ideas from other bands that you toured with? And I know, Kiss and some really big bands, AC/DC and things like that. Is there anything, it's not considered stealing, obviously, between bands? Are there any things that you take away from bands that you're on the road with?
Oh man, I steal everything I can get my hands on. We're all in it together, and everybody borrows from everybody. Lately, I haven't stolen anything, or I can't work a mic stand like Tyler, or so I just don't even try. But actually, I'm just trying to do my own thing these days. Because if you're trying to catch up with somebody, you're already a year behind. So it's like, why even try and mess with the trends or worry about what people think? And with folks like yourselves, terrestrial radio is just it's struggling just as much as the major labels are. So more and more creative content is coming, from the internet and from smaller packages and from everywhere. It's like the most creative thing wins these days instead of a bunch of old guys picking what you're going to hear. So.
I think that's really cool. That's really smart what you said about being a year behind, because everybody's got to work on their deal basically and get that right before they even present it. So by the time they present it, it's already old to them basically. So that's really insightful for you to point that out. I think I hope a lot of young musicians are hearing that and understand the originality that really needs to come from their own music basically. We took some questions from actually some of your fans, and we've been posting and just trying to get a lot of the Skid Row Johnny-Solinger fans involved. And I actually got a question from Zach, who's from out here.
Did anybody respond?
Everybody responded. Dude, I got a list of people. I wrote down their names and I got their cities and everything. But yeah, by the way, you guys are kind of a big deal in some places.
Right.
But but Zach,
at Mom's house, I get free meals.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, talk to my mom. See if you can work that out for me, man. I appreciate that. She's still charging.
She charges you for, like, Swedish meatballs and shit? Oh, wow.
Maybe. Zach from Washington, D.C. would love to know what band has been your most favorite to tour with, whether it's playing or just hanging out. Who's been the most fun to roll with on the road?
Well, my very first tour, going back to 2000 with the band, I mean, when I got the job, I had not been too much further north than the Mason-Dixon line. and so to be thrown into that fire, that juggernaut, which is the Kiss tour, was nuts. And I did over 100 shows with those guys. And it was right off the bat in 2000, right after that Y2K shit that never happened. So you prepare for the end of the world, it doesn't happen, and then you're on the road with Kiss. So I was like, oh, shit. I didn't know what was going on. And that was a life-changing event, of course. Plus, Ted Nugent was there, and he's crazy anyway. And he was very supportive.